Today I'm showing you how to make a t-shirt out of knit fabric. Knits are something that a lot of people avoid because they're stretchy and difficult to sew, but I'm going to walk through it super slowly and show you that you can do it too. I'm using this pattern from LB Textiles. There are lots of other sewing patterns you can use. These are a few others that I've enjoyed. There are literally hundreds. You can follow this tutorial with essentially any shirt sewing pattern because they all follow the same basic steps. So before we get to the tutorial, I just wanted to show you what knit fabric even is. Knit fabric is stretchy because it's made from fibers that are knit together with interlocking stitches. It's basically just like a knit sweater except made with really, really tiny stitches. Woven fabric, on the other hand, is not stretchy. There's a little bit of give when you pull on it, but this is not the kind of fabric you're going to use for this tutorial. For this, I'm using a jersey cotton stretch fabric. If you're brand new to patterns, it kind of helps to know that there's two basic formats that you can buy patterns in. There's physical patterns, like these mass-produced ones from the major companies like Butterick and Simplicity. And then there are also a lot of indie designers. I bought this because I like buying patterns from smaller companies. If you do want to buy indie patterns like this, it just helps to know that most of them come in PDF format, which means you're going to have to print out a bunch of pattern pieces and cut them apart and tape them together. If that's something that you're not up for, just keep that in mind when you're buying patterns. A lot of indie designers do have paper patterns, so if you can find them, I highly recommend doing that instead. It's just going to be less of a headache when you're trying to learn two new things at once. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to choose your size, which can be a little bit complicated actually. A lot of the commercially produced patterns will give you very basic measurements, which is kind of helpful, but honestly, you really need to know the bust measurement, which a lot of the smaller pattern producers will include. I've had trouble sometimes on mass-produced patterns finding the bust measurement, and that's really what you're going to want to look at when choosing a size. Figuring out what size to make when it doesn't specify the bust measurement is honestly really hard, but I have some tips that are linked in my blog below if you want to check that out. When you're picking a size, you also have to keep ease in mind, and ease is something that's referring to how large or small the finished garment is in comparison to your actual body measurements. So something with positive ease, for example here, it says there's 7 inches of ease factored into the design. That means that it's going to be an oversized t-shirt. This pattern, on the other hand, has what's called negative ease worked into it, which means it's just going to fit tighter and be more form-fitting. If you're using a commercially produced pattern like this one, just find the line that matches your size and cut it out all the way around the entire pattern piece. Keep in mind that sometimes the lines will overlap with each other and you just want to make sure you're following the right line. If you're not completely sure what size to make, there are a few things you can do to trace your pattern onto different paper, or even cut and fold your pattern so that you can make larger sizes later. And those are some tips that are also in my blog post linked below. If you're using a PDF pattern like this one, you're going to have to print out all of your pages, and as you can see, this one is actually 33 pages long. They will usually tell you exactly how to line them up in a grid, and then tape them together and cut out your pieces. There are a lot of different t-shirt patterns, but basically every single t-shirt is going to have a neckband, a sleeve, which you will cut 2 of, a back, and a front. Some patterns might not have this, but almost every t-shirt pattern that I've ever seen has an instruction to center this on the fold of the fabric. And what that means is you're just going to fold your fabric and put this along the fold line. You don't cut this line because that will be the center of your shirt. So one thing I didn't talk about yet is pattern markings, which are these arrows and dots that you'll sometimes see on patterns. Almost all patterns have these, but I realized the one I'm using for this tutorial actually doesn't, so I'm showing you on this pattern instead. These triangles just tell you whether something is the front or the back of a garment, and it helps you line up your pieces when you're sewing your garment together. When you're cutting out your pieces, you can cut these into the fabric itself, or you can use something like tailor's chalk to mark them instead. This here is a double triangle, so what I do is I cut a large triangle, and then I take my scissors and I do this to cut the middle out, and then you have 2 triangles. Now, as you can probably see, cutting out the triangles is a little bit tedious, which is why I do prefer using the tailor's chalk. To use tailor's chalk, you're just going to cut your pattern out, remove the excess, and then you can lift the pattern and simply mark 2 lines And these lines represent the two triangles. If you had a single triangle, like this side, you would just draw one line. Some patterns will also have these dots that are used mostly for lining up your pieces when you're sewing them together. These are easy to mark with a tailor's chalk as well. To do that, I kind of just hold my finger on the spot and then fold the pattern and mark right underneath it. So before we get to cutting your fabric, I wanted to talk about the importance of pre-washing. A lot of knit fabric and woven fabric, and essentially any other kind of fabric, is going to shrink when you wash it, which if you're quilting can create a really nice effect by not pre-washing your fabrics, but when you're working with garments, you definitely want to pre-wash. After washing and drying your fabric, it's always a good idea to iron it. After you're done ironing, you can start laying out your pattern pieces and your fabric. When you're folding your fabric, you want to make sure that you're not wasting anything, so just make sure the fold is about as wide as your actual pattern itself. This pattern piece tells you to cut on the center fold, so that's what I'm going to do here. At this stage, you should have all of your shirt pieces cut out, and that's where I'm going to leave it for part 1 because that was a lot of work. In part 2, we're actually going to talk about sewing your pieces together, so make sure you stick around for the next video.